Property inventories make you win deposit claims. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but if you don't have an inventory for your property, there's a higher chance that you won't be able to get any money from the tenant's deposit. Now, this is extremely important when you need to get things repaired in the property and the tenant has left. There's issues after they've left, they've not cleaned it, things are broken. You then think, you know what, I'm going to get their money from the deposit. You know, they've paid me £1,000 or 5 weeks worth of money. I'm going to get their money back from their deposit. Oh no, no inventory, no money. All the issues are down to you. Sister, brother, let me tell you how you can win. I'll tell you more after this. Inventory clerks. You don't have to hire an inventory clerk specifically to do the work within your business. I mean, ideally it would be better because then you can hire a third party. It may look a bit better to the adjudication process. Obviously, if you have any disputes with the tenant, that you have a third party and it's more impartial. But ultimately, you can be the property inventory clerk yourself. You don't necessarily have to hire someone. You just have to do a very thorough job and be as objective as possible as a property manager and do your job very well. Then you should still be able to win. An inventory report is a very detailed document of what the property looks like and the condition of absolutely everything in the property. So, for example, in one room, you'll take pictures and details about the floor, the ceiling, the walls, the light fixtures, the skirting, the carpet, everything that's exposed, the window coverings, the window seal, the window itself, the glass, if it's clean, the mirrors. If you're talking about the bedroom, you take pictures of the bed, the mattress, the underneath the mattress, the whole bed frame itself, the wardrobes, inside the wardrobes. I mean, the amount of detail you have in an inventory is absolutely unbelievable. Now, there are some people who, when it comes to an inventory, they don't necessarily write things, they just take pictures and, you know, sometimes combine that with a video. So the pictures can be just as detailed as, you know, written word. So when you're having something like taking pictures of the mirror, taking pictures of the skirting, taking pictures of the carpet, you need to know, you know, take pictures of the whole entire layout of the room. So you take pictures of every single corner of the room so that there's no misunderstanding when it comes to, you know, if there's any sort of arbitration situation. So then you have a check-in report. So when you do your check-in report, which is a bit more information than just an inventory. So inventory is before the person's moved in, but a check-in report is when the person's actually, you know, due to move it on that day. You take meter readings of the property, take picture of the keys, every single key that's in a property, take picture of the keys. You walk through the property with the tenant, and ideally at the very end, you get the person to sign the inventory and you also sign the inventory. The checkout report is obviously the person leaving the property, which you would ideally want them to sign and ideally want them to attend as well. You take pictures of absolutely everything. You walk them around the property along with the check-in report. If you have time, sometimes the tenant has to leave, you know, whatever notice they've given, and you're not always able to coordinate the times at the same time for you to be there. So, you know, they may have left already, but, you know, you need to make sure that you've documented everything in terms of how much electricity they use, how much gas they use, picture of the water meter, anything they've left behind, how professionally clean the property was, if they got the property cleaned, as much detail as you can incorporate. Now, what we've found when I've worked with some people is what lets them down is not having an inventory at all. Now, I'm only talking about residential properties here. You obviously have houses of multiple occupation where you have lots of people living in one property and they're all renting out rooms. Then you have things like residential property, so maybe a family or a single person renting a flat or a house. So I'm only talking about residential inventories here. You need to make sure that everything is as documented as possible. What some people don't do, what some landlords don't do, is they don't do inventories at all, especially those who have HMOs. Sometimes people are in and out within 6 months, within a year. They're like, what's the point? But then what they found is, you know, mattresses is always one of the worst things in a HMO that is always unfortunately soiled. You then have, you know, lots of scuffs on the wall. There's always some sort of mark on the carpet, but because the person who managed the property didn't do a detailed inventory, there's no way of knowing if it was that specific tenant that caused the issue, if it was a tenant before that caused the issue, the tenant before that caused the issue. So when I've worked with agencies and specific landlords, we always make sure we do an inventory so we can work out who was a person that caused that specific issue, especially if you have an ensuite bathroom and all of a sudden the bathroom is leaking. It makes sense to be able to do an inventory, because at the very end, when you're going to arbitration, there's certain issues that always arise. In case you're not aware, I am Tanya from Clearview Administration. I'm a virtual assistant and an online business manager. I've been working as an online business manager since 2012, working with many people within the property industry, mainly property managers, estate agents, landlords, mortgage brokers, all sorts of different people within the property industry. And I am there working behind the scenes to ensure that their business is running smoothly and that they, as business owners, can concentrate on money generating tasks. So if there's something you'd be interested in, please send me an email. My name is Tanya at clearviewadministration.co.uk. Now, I've put through quite a lot of arbitration information, because sometimes you say something that the tenant has to pay this, they don't want to pay that, they don't see why they should pay that, so there's always some sort of dispute. So whenever I'm going to any form of arbitration, I always provide the tenancy agreement, the check-in document, the check-out document. If there's a 6-month annual review of the property, so as a property manager, you would have gone to the property and done a 6-month check of the property and also checked in on the tenant, make sure they're okay. I would submit that document as well. Depending on the company that you're doing the arbitration with, I'd submit all of the documentation like gas, electric, EICR, all that kind of information. And then I would then log the issue of exactly what is the problem. So I'd put the amount of money that we're trying to claim, the reason I'm trying to claim it. So if a tenant hasn't paid, then I would provide the arbitration a full entire statement of from when they moved in to the day they moved out, so the arbitration team can see that they haven't paid. I would then forward them all of the communication that I've had with the tenant in terms of if it was for trying to get rent, I tell them all the information I'm trying to get for the rent, all the text messages, email messages, WhatsApp messages. I'll send all of that. So what you have to do is, when you are trying to get money back from the tenant from deposit, you have to give all the information that proves your point, because the arbitration company will more than likely side with the tenants as a side to siding with you. You as a property manager need to prove that they owe you money for whatever it is that you're charging them for, and you can't be unreasonable. There is obviously a level of wear and tear in a property, but if you've given them a brand new property, it's recently redecorated, you can prove with the receipts and payments and everything looks white and it's exactly like your marketing pictures, and then you get the property back and the walls are black. Sometimes there's mold. Not always can you claim for mold, because I have found that with DPS, they have said that they want evidence of why there's mold. So you need to prove to the DPS arbitration that you've given the tenant information as to how to deal with mold, how to deal with living in the property. You need to prove your case as much as possible. The more information you're able to give to the arbitration, that you've done your job, that you've tried to answer all the questions that the tenant has had, that you haven't delayed, that there hasn't been any reason that you've not paid for something, then the more likely you as a property manager on behalf of the landlord are likely to win. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to this video if you thought the information you got was very useful to you. Please share this video with friends, families and colleagues who you think may also enjoy the information that I'm sharing. I'm creating a video every day, so I'm giving you lots of different information and value from the experience that I have had working as a virtual assistant for lots of other different property business owners. So please stay tuned and watch the next video, because I'll have some more interesting things to share with you. If there's anything that you'd like me to make a video on, please leave it in the description below and I'll be more than happy to make videos on that subject. Until next time, bye.